This video is demonstrating wireless control of a Raspberry Pi and an Arduino. We can control the whole system with this phone, and if you see, for example, we can control an LED over here, turn it on and off. We can use this dimmer switch to turn up this LED and dim it back down again. And we can also use this switch to blink this LED over here, another LED. And you notice the gauge is reading a variable from the Raspberry Pi, and this could be a temperature sensor or any other kind of sensor. So what is the brain of the operation? The brain is the Raspberry Pi, and it's running a Nodered server, which is really a web page programming tool. And we access this web page or the programming tool wirelessly through the phone or a laptop. We communicate to the router, which communicates wirelessly to the Pi, and then we can control inputs and outputs on the Raspberry Pi as was demonstrated by this button. So now we're controlling an output pin on the Raspberry Pi itself. The Raspberry Pi then through Ethernet is communicating over Modbus protocol to the Arduino. And what happens is we send a message to the Pi. It relays that message over Modbus to an output pin on the Arduino, which blinks this light. Now if we push this button here, we turn on the same light, and what's happening is we're sending a message to the input pin of the Arduino. This gets relayed over Modbus, and then again the brain decides, because of that input pin, to turn on the light in response, and so it has to send the output back to the Arduino. So there's no control logic. It's just relaying the status. The Arduino is just relaying the status of the inputs and outputs. And then it's the Raspberry Pi that makes the decision what to do based on that. Now you notice there's a 1 second delay or a slight delay with the button. And that's because the Pi is updating the Modbus status every second. So we see the 1 second heartbeat on the Arduino. And it seems as if a half a second is the maximum for a Raspberry Pi first generation, or then the whole system bogs down. Server access really slows down if it's faster than a half a second. So that demonstrates wireless control of Raspberry Pi and an Arduino.